Hello, 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 and welcome to Real Conversations. Oh, can you tell I'm feeling better? The jokes is coming in already. Um, so yes, I'm feeling a lot better. Hanging in here, getting ready for this holiday. My girls is giving me their list already, so I'll be cooking, cooking, cooking. But anyway, um, I'm stopping in with this message today for all those who are struggling with heartbreak. Yeah, heartbreak is never a easy thing to deal with. Um, Heartbreak is one of the most painful things to me besides death. Death is something that, is inevitable. We're all going to go. Um, but heartbreak almost feels like death because, you meet someone and you think, okay, I love this person. I'm going to be with them. I'm going to spend the rest of my life with them. And, it may not be perfect. It may not be all there, whatever it is. And then, time goes on, life goes on. You may possibly have children with them. And then it all goes to shit. It probably was already in shit, but you just didn't realize it, or you just, overlooked a lot of stuff. But it was probably already in the shit. And so you stay in it for a while and you try to work things out, or you think you're working things out. You think that you're giving your all, you think you're giving your best to a situation because you've invested, your time, your energy, your resources. You've invested your heart. You probably were at some point, vulnerable and transparent for most people, because a lot of people don't really fully give themselves in that way in relationships. Excuse me. But you honestly in your heart think that you love somebody, and then something happens in the relationship, whether it's lies, whether it's cheating, whether it's some form of abuse, whether it's verbally, mentally, physically, emotionally, financially. And, the dynamics of the relationship change. And, some people, you know, run for the door right away. Others like to maybe stick it out and see if they could work it out. But it doesn't ever really work out. There's always some lingering residual effects of, that pain that still exists, because it's very hard to love somebody and trust somebody or believe somebody after they hurt you. And then, sometimes people will maliciously and intentionally hurt you. And it's even further, it's worse and it's painful, because it's like, wow, like, you know, you say you love me, but, look how you treat me. You say you love me, but you're not willing to change for me. You say you love me, but you're not willing to do the things to show me love. And the sad reality of it is most people don't know what love is, and they can only love from the capacity of what they think love is. And most of us grew up in dysfunctional homes where, we have a distorted view of what love is. And we think that struggle love is love. We think that love is pain. We think that regardless if somebody hurts you or abuse you or use you, that you're supposed to sit there and deal with it because you quote unquote love them, or quote unquote they love you. And that's not really healthy. That's toxic. And so heartbreak is, some people, you are never the same after a heartbreak. Depending upon what the situation is and what happened, you're never really the same. You start to reevaluate who you are. You start to reevaluate who the person that you were dealing with. And so you become afraid to move on and love and to try to, get into another relationship. And this is why most people carry emotional baggage from one relationship to the next. Because, like I said, people are tired. People have been hurt. They've been used and abused. And it seems like, a good man always ends up with a bad woman, or a bad woman. It's horrible. It's like the good people can't never find the good people. It's like you always got to end up with the bad person, or the person who's nasty or mean or wicked. Like you never really can find two good people. And so people, I know a lot of people who went through breakups and they just said, you know what, I'm done. I'm not doing this ever again. And I'm like, okay, and at some point I didn't really understand it, because I love love. Everything that I do, I love with the purpose. I love love. Love is so beautiful. Love is, I love love. That's all I can say. I don't know any other way to put it. I love love. And when you love right and somebody loves you right, it's so beautiful. And so I have several people who just won't, they can't, they just don't want to be hurt like that anymore. And they just like, I rather just, be, and I understand, you just rather be alone. You don't want to open up yourself and become, be vulnerable and susceptible to that kind of hurt and that pain and the betrayal and the mistrust, because the kind of person you are, and the kind of love that you give. And it's hard when you're that kind of person and you can't get that love back. It's not genuine. And so heartbreak is never easy. You never forget. A lot of things you will never forget. And you move on, it becomes better. As time go on, you're able to heal and you're able to move forward in your life. And you wish that you could go back and change some things, but you can't. So you heal from it. You grow, you evolve, you move on, you make better choices, you make better decisions, and you kind of hope and pray that, moving forward, you don't end up in the same types of relationships. And some people, they learn their lesson, and for others, they don't. And they continue ending up in these pointless relationships or situations. And some people settle. Keyword settle, because they have a fear of being alone. And that's, to me, is sad. I said, wouldn't you rather be alone and at peace than to be, sleeping next to someone who brings you no joy, no love, no happiness, you just want a body laying in your bed? Like, to me, I don't understand that, because I love love. And I've experienced heartbreak in my life. Yeah, but I'm glad that, I was strong enough to see those situations for what it was, to go through every emotion. And when I say every emotion, I mean every emotion. And I'm one of those people that like to analyze a lot of things. And I like to just kind of like, okay, I'm not a perfect person. I could admit my faults and, things that I've done wrong. But, when you're young and you're naive and you don't think from you think a certain way, and you don't see things from certain aspects, you don't really understand the magnitude of the choices and the decisions that you make. So everything that you do when you're in that immature state, you have to learn to forgive yourself for. You have to be able to say, okay, I understand where I went, and just whatever happened in that situation, whatever happened in that heartbreak, you may not necessarily have caused the heartbreak. However, there's always a lesson in the heartbreak, if that makes sense. So instead of focusing on all of the negative, which is very hard to do, rather than focus on all the negative, think about the positives. Think about how your life is without that person. Because, especially when you are with somebody and you think it's going to work out, and you start to incorporate your lives, meaning you live together. You may have, things in both of your names, cars, home, whatever it is. You start bank accounts. You start to incorporate your lives with this person. Just the thought of trying to now dissolve, and now you have to embrace this new journey of not having that person in your life. And it's hard, because you like I said, you've invested your time, you've invested your money, you've invested so much into that situation. But if it no longer serves you, then the best thing for you to do is to embrace the heartbreak. What was the lesson in it? What did you learn coming out of that? How can you be better and move on and possibly, meet someone else? And, don't close yourself off to love. Don't close yourself off to what lies ahead for you in this new season. That's what we get seasons for. That nothing in life is guaranteed except death. So I don't look at things from a perspective of everything is supposed to last forever. Yes, it's painful. Like I said, heartbreaks are like death. Nothing lasts forever. At some point, everything will go. And if you are one of those people that can hold on and has held on to your relationship, and this is somebody who you're going to grow old with, beautiful. I'm happy for you. That's hey. But if not, go live the rest of your life. Heal from that heartbreak. Heal from that pain. What was the lesson in it? What did it teach you? And here's the thing: everything that I went through taught me so much about myself. I've evolved so much. I've grown so much. I even underestimated my own strength. So now, if you think you know me, you don't really know me. That's how much I've changed. That's how much I've grown and evolved. I'm a totally different person. This person was inside of me, but I had to die to rebirth this new me. And I've said this before, God had to break me to the point where I was so broken that all I could do was say, you know what? Okay. And I was reborn again. And now I'm walking in my newness. I'm walking in my love and my light. I'm walking in my purpose. And I love the new me. I could never go back to that person that I ever used to be. So, embrace the heartbreak. Go through all the emotions. Grow, flourish. Go enjoy your new life. Go explore all the newness that's coming your way. Embrace all the new people that you will meet. The new things that you would do. Focus on you. Focus on your mental. Focus on your spiritual. It's such a beautiful feeling to feel like you're dying inside from that heartbreak. And then it's just like one day you wake up and you say, okay. This is why most of the time, if you ever notice, when people go through a heartbreak or they go through a breakup, they go and they get their hair done, or they get like a whole new look. They cut their hair, they dye their hair. They come out transformed like a whole new person. And you're like, wait a minute, what? They ready to hit the streets. They ready to hit the clubs, whatever works for you. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, I didn't really have that option, but the glow up is amazing. You know what I'm saying? You start feeling yourself again. Your walk become a little different. Your swag become a little different. Your steps become, when you walk it becomes a little lighter. You're like, okay, you feel the release. So embrace that heartbreak. Heartbreaks are never easy. Heartbreaks are like death because that's the old part of you that has to leave. It has to go. It no longer exists. So that relationship, that heartbreak, whatever it is, that you have to release it. So yeah, it's painful and it hurts like hell because now you somebody who you thought you were going to be with and spend the rest of your life with or whatever it is, that person is no longer part of your life. So yes, it's like a death. But the rebirth is beautiful. It's called transformation. It's called evolution. It's called ascending. Rise above all of that heartbreak and truly become the person that was waiting to be birthed. And most people won't get that part. And most people won't understand it. But you will. So you cry. You feel every emotion. You go through whatever it is that you have to go through. And you pick yourself up. You dust yourself off and keep it moving. Heartbreaks will never be easy, but don't shy away from heartbreaks. Build up and I wouldn't say your tolerance, but build yourself back up where, you can't allow someone to break your heart. That's another thing. You break your own heart. And maybe I'll do another podcast on that because you really broke your own heart. That person didn't break your heart. You just didn't see the things in that person. So therefore, you broke your own heart by staying in that mess. And that's real talk. So just like you broke your own heart, you can repair your heart. And make sure when you repair that heart is fabulous. So that way when you walk into any room, people be like, oh, okay. She's arrived. She's here. She is here. And they already know that it's about to go down because you have arrived. So embrace that heartbreak. It won't last forever. Trust and believe. You'll be all right. You'll be good. Trust me, there's somebody waiting out there for you who's going to love you, who's going to cherish you, who's going to pamper you, do all of those good things. And here's the thing. And when you do get into a new relationship, enjoy it. Don't wait for something to happen. Just enjoy it. Embrace it. Enjoy it for what it is. And, however long the duration of that relationship is, and if it doesn't last, it doesn't last. Enjoy, embrace all of it. And, sometimes you will find someone who you can spend the rest of your life with. But if not, shit, you got yourself. Who's going to love you better than you? So with that being said, stay blessed and have a good day.